So guys, the third point, as it says that it says another reason why the most Vedic astrology predictions go wrong: 9 planets and 12 houses. Well, and another mistake made by most of the money-minded Vedic astrologers is that they don't realize that even a person who is fully equipped with all the Vedic astrology theories and principles, even the person who is most adroit with the science of Vedic astrology would take at least an hour, if not more, to make an accurate prediction. And since there are 9 planets in 12 houses that are to be taken into consideration before making any such statement, it may take a rather long time. You know what all it takes to decipher out what kind of a result even a single planet is giving you in your life. For that, first of all, you have to take in consideration which house the planet is placed in. Based on the house it is placed in, we can decipher out, okay, these things are possible. Then you take into consideration that which sign is the planet placed in. Is the planet that is taken into consideration and is placed into a particular house, is it placed in its own sign? Is it placed in a sign where it is considered most weak? Is it placed in a sign where is it considered exalted, that is at a beautiful position? Is it placed in the sign of an enemy? Is it placed in the sign of an arch enemy, or is it placed in the sign of a planet that is neutral to it? So I'll vouch it out by giving an example. When you make both of these, when you see, let's suppose you have a planet and you have considered that, okay, I have Mars in my 6th house and it's in the sign of Gemini. Then you got to consider both of these aspects, that what Mars in the 6th house does, and then you go to club the similar energies with what Mars and Gemini would give the results as. And when you club those energies, that is the planetary energy, the results that the planet is giving in a particular house, and the result that same planet that is taken into consideration would give in a particular sign, that is Gemini, that we have taken into consideration, only then we can pinpoint as to what is the exact result that particular planet is giving in our horoscope. I'll vouch it out with an example. As you can see out here is a picture of a normal Vedic chart of any individual where Mars is, where if you can clearly see, this is the 6th house in Vedic astrology. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the 6th house in Vedic astrology. And Mars, when Mars comes into the 6th house, the possible scenarios are that the person may be a businessman, the person may be a social worker, the person may become a doctor, or what else? Or the person may be even associated with the fields like military, soldier, any fighting at the war fronts or something like that. So all of these professions results are associated when Mars is in the 6th house. And since Mars is a planet of and why am I vouching that all these things are possible? Because Mars is a planet that is a planet of courage. So it essentially does not mean that a person like Mahatma Gandhi or something like someone like Martin Luther King, they were people who believed in non-violence. But what Mars, they had a very prominent Mars in their horoscope, and Mars does not only signify battles or fighting with the sword. Mars in today's scenario, what it exactly means is that you have a die heart, that you are a never say die character, you have a never say die spirit in you. If you are given a task, if you are assigned a task, you would rather you would accomplish it no matter what hindrances, what obstacles, no matter what comes your way. You will either be dead, or you will come out daring, pushing the task and returning vainglorious to the person who has designated you that task. So Martin Luther King and as I said, Mahatma Gandhi, who were the revolutionary figures, They were sort of a Martian personalities, and the aggression that they displayed was not a violent aggression. Even aggression that is associated with Mars could be a soft aggression, could be a very channelized aggression. So social workers can be seen from Mars in the 6th house, and then doctors. Why? Because 6th house is the house of diseases, and Mars is associated with all the professions. He could be a surgeon, he could be a doctor associated with any profession. And then you have business. He could be in any business that is associated with Mars. He could be in the manufacturing of chemicals, manufacturing of any chemicals, right from manufacturing of beer to manufacturing of cosmetics to manufacturing of arms and ammunition to manufacturing of red grain to manufacturing of paints and chemicals to manufacturing of explosive products, and the list goes on. What else? And now when we consider that similar Mars, that Mars is placed although in the 6th house but in the sign of Gemini. And what does the sign of Gemini represent? The sign of Gemini represents business, entrepreneurship, innovation, technology, computers, being in front of the camera, being in front of the crowd as a speaker, or being in front of the crowd as a mimicry artist, being in front of the crowd for any reason that you want to be recognized as. The sign of Gemini has even to do with mathematics, technology, entrepreneurship and things like that. So when we club both of these energies, so a doctor, as I said, that Mars in 6th house could show a doctor. But when we take into consideration that Mars is in the 6th house, okay, it signifies that I'll be a doctor, but since it is in the sign of Gemini, so that person would not be a doctor. So that person would not be a normal doctor who is operating in a hospital, who is operating in who is running a clinic of his own. Rather, he may go into fields where he may be, which involves the where the medical knowledge and technology are both clubbed. So he may be a biotech engineer, wherein you are combining the knowledge of the medical science with the latest technology. So he may be a biomedical engineer. He may be into a field like bioinformatics, that is bioinformatics engineer. He may be a biostatistician. He may be a medical transcriptionist. And since Gemini is a sign that is associated with computers, that is associated with programming, and so he may be a medical transcriptionist also. Or what else can we make out of it? Since Gemini, which is the sign controlled by Mercury, it's all about entrepreneurship, innovation, research, and even research is seen from Gemini. So these people, rather than being a doctor, he could be a microbiologist, he could be a research scientist working in the lab, devising a new medicine for the cure of a deadly disease like cancer, and he may be conducting research so as to bring in a new product or a new technology that may become a panacea for the people suffering from cancer, and it may be revolutionary medicine as far as curing the ailment as dreadful as cancer is concerned. He may be doing something associated with that has to do with genome therapy, cloning. Possibly he may be working on technology where he may be cloning a cow, and he may be working on the genome therapy in the sense that he may devise out a genome structure which will help produce a cow that is twice more strong, sturdy, that will live twice the age of a normal cow, and that will give twice the milk as a normal cow gives. Or what else can we make out of it? Since it has the sign of Gemini has to do with innovation, like I already told you. So instead of being a doctor, he might be conducting doctor. Of course, the field of doctor has to do with medicine. So rather than prescribing the medicine to the patients, he might be actually conducting research in the laboratory, wherein he may be conducting research on something something new. For example, orthomolecular medicine, which is going to be the next biggest thing in the medical field. So this is how you club both those energies and see what exactly is coming out of it. So somebody who is not adroit with the science of Vedic astrology might straight away say that since Mars is in the 6th house, you may be a doctor, while you might be saying what the hell you are saying, I am a medical transcriptionist. And this is where intricacies of Vedic astrology come into play. What else can we make out when we club these energies? So Mars in 6th house says you being a doctor, and the sign of Gemini has to do with business. So you could be in the manufacturing of arms and ammunition. You could be in the manufacturing of arms. I shall not say arms and ammunition because I don't think a doctor has got anything to do with that. But you could be in the medical tourism business. You could be in the business wherein you are manufacturing and selling those probiotic milk products, or since Mars is a planet that is associated with the sports, and so is the sign of Gemini. Gemini is also got to do with entrepreneurship and sportsmanship. So what we can say that you could be in the business where you might be manufacturing those vitamins, those protein powders, Fusion, 100% gold whey protein for all those gym lovers, out there. So this is how we club these two energies and see what exactly is coming out of it. If we take the example of a soldier, so he might not, Mars in the 6th house can signify a soldier, but when this similar Mars is in the sign of Gemini and in the 6th house, and we club both of these energies, so rather than seeing a soldier, we could see a scientist who is involved in the field of defense technology. He might be a person working with Indian Defense Organization. He might be a person who might be working with NASA. For all those Americans out there who are watching my channel, he might be working with the Indian Space and Research Organization, crafting the technology behind those bomber aircrafts, behind those missiles. So he might be the mastermind behind this defense technology rather than being a soldier. What else? When it comes to social worker, so since he would be a social worker, but since in the sign of Gemini, which is about computers, mass communication, so this social worker might use Facebook or internet or YouTube as a medium, hire to his campaign in order to uplift his campaign, in order to get his campaign to a million people. This is how media has evolved, and the field of technology has totally revolutionized things. It has given you a medium to reach out to the world. So if this social worker were to construct campaigns on the streets or in front of any of the historical structures or in front of the parliament, at most the people in India or the people in that city only would get to know about him. But if he is targeting Facebook as his main campaigning venture, so he has the opportunity to connect to 1/6 of the world, that is 100 crore plus people. And what else do you need? So, and that is the reason why many of these political parties in India, Aam Aadmi Party or it's the BJP, Narendra Modi constructing a campaign, or it has become so vital a tool. This technology, this Facebook, this Twitter has become so vital a tool that even sports people who are seen by Mars, use it as a medium to connect with their fans. So. And then after you have clubbed both these energies, still in order to authenticate in order to pinpoint on the results that this Mars in your chart is going to give you, you are still not sure. In order to further authenticate your judgment, you got to look at the nakshatra. Nakshatra, we will discuss all those things later, but we got to look at then which nakshatra is your planet Mars placed in. We know that it's placed in the 6th house. We know it's placed in the sign of Gemini, but then we got to look at which nakshatra is it placed in and what are the qualities and attributes that are associated with that nakshatra. Now for an example, I will tell you, let's suppose placement of Mars in the 6th house in the sign of Gemini indicates that you will be clubbing your medical knowledge with business. doctor plus business. So you might be involved in any of the business, like I told you, tourism industry, manufacturing of medicines, manufacturing of probiotic products and something like that, cosmetics. Then in order to further pinpoint as to what in which field precisely you would go into, you go to look at which nakshatra is your Mars placed in. Let's suppose, as I have given an example in this chart, that if your Mars in the 6th house in the sign of Gemini is placed in the nakshatra that is controlled by Venus, then what can you figure it out? What is Venus? Venus is a planet of beauty. Venus is a planet of ornaments, jewelry. Venus is a planet of glamour. Looking beautiful. So when we club these three energies, that is medical science plus business plus in the nakshatra of Venus that has to do with beauty. So you might be a medical manufacturer who might be manufacturing the cosmetic products aimed at women, since women are represented by Venus in Vedic astrology. So you might be manufacturing cosmetics products aimed at women, or any of those products that are solely aimed at women. It could be the pregnancy testers, it could be any pill that is exclusively taken by women. And further when you have deciphered it out that you will be manufacturing medical products related to women, or cosmetic products related to women, then each nakshatra in Vedic astrology is further divided into 4 padhas, that is into 4 parts. It's called 4 padhas in the term, in the terminology that is used in the Vedic texts. So then we got to look at which padha it is placed in. Now, as you can see it, as each nakshatra is divided into 4 padhas. So if it is in the padha of Saturn, so now we club these 4 energies. The medical field, he'll go into business since it's in the sign of Gemini. Then it's in the nakshatra of Venus, so it will have to do something with women. Then comes, it's in the nakshatra of Venus, but in the padha of Saturn. And what does Saturn? Saturn represents the old people in our society. So he might be, his cosmetic range of products or any medical products might be aimed at women who are in the old age. This is how astrology can pinpoint as to what business you will exactly go in. Astrology is never wrong. Yes, the astrologer can be. If you are totally 100% adroit with the science of Vedic astrology, that you can decipher out those secrets that's beyond the realm of comprehension of any normal people to decipher out by looking at a Vedic chart. In order to reach at that level of profound prediction ability, you have to learn those real intricacies of Vedic astrology, which you will gradually pick up. It's no big deal. It will hardly take for you 1 or 2 months, at the max 2 months, if you'll stick into my channel. So it will take at max 2 months for you to be familiar with the terms like houses, lordships, nakshatras, padhas, aspects, all these terms that might be bounces for you right now. I'll all ease that out, and my goal on this channel would be that at the end of 2 months, I would put you in a state where, and that's my promise, I'll put you in a state where you might be able to make a Vedic prediction at least better than those money-minded Vedic astrologers that you go to. And okay, coming back to business. So since it was in the padha of Saturn, I told that that person would be manufacturing the beauty products, or the cosmetic range, or the medical products aimed at women in the old age. Now, since Saturn is also representative of the teeth and bones, so he might manufacture products that has got anything to do with the bones or the teeth. So he might be manufacturing cosmetic products that has to do with that the women apply on their teeth, or has got anything to do with the bones in the womanly body structure. Now, what if it's in the Padha of Rahu? Then we again club those four energies: doctor plus business plus Venus women, then Rahu. So what can we make out of it? Rahu is a planet in Vedic astrology which is associated with, it's a foreign planet in Vedic astrology. It is the planet that is associated with the foreign things. So he might be manufacturing those cosmetic range of products or the medical range of products for women, and he might be into the import-export business, which is controlled by Rahu in Vedic astrology. Now suppose this person has his Mars in the nakshatra of Jupiter. Then what can we make out of it when we club those four energies? What does Jupiter stand for? Jupiter is a significant of children in Vedic astrology. Jupiter stands for many other, it is associated with 100 other attributes, but it is the main planet that is associated with children. So what this person can do, he might be manufacturing the ventilator machines that are used in the hospitals. Women is significant of Venus is significant of women. So even motherlyhood is to an extent is controlled by women. Your women would your mother would fall in the category of Venus. You are into the manufacturing business related to the medical science, and it's in the nakshatra of Jupiter that has to do with children. So you could be supplying ventilators to the hospital, or you may be manufacturing products that have got to do with women who are pregnant, pregnancy pills, anti-pregnancy pills, pregnancy testers. And then what else can we make out of it is, it could be diapers for children, which may aid the their mothers, controlled by Venus, help take care of the child when they are physically away from the child. So Mammy Poco Pants and all those diaper brands that we have in India, he could be manufacturing all that. What if it is in the nakshatra of Mars itself? Mars is in the 6th house, in the sign of Gemini, in the nakshatra of Mars itself. And what does Mars stand for? As I told you in the beginning, Mars represents sports people, gym instructors, and seen for this. So he might be a gym instructor who might be solely catering to the female clientage. This is how we decipher things out. So guys, you must have by now realized, by all this lengthy discussion, I know some of you might have found it boring, but some of you might have found it rather very engaging and rather very transparent. That might have cleared the picture as to how to judge a planetary placement. But by now you must have decided how complicated it is, how what amount of effort it goes into in order to authenticate that what effects a particular planet is bringing into your horoscope. And things doesn't even end here. After discussing the houses the planet is placed in, after discussing the sign the planet is placed in, after discussing the nakshatra and the padha the planet is placed in, after that we look at what aspects it is receiving, what aspects is the Mars receiving from any planet. Is it receiving an aspect from the functional malefic? Is it receiving aspect from the functional benefic? Is it receiving aspect from the natural benefic or natural malefic? Is it receiving aspect from the planet it is friends with? Is it receiving aspect from the planet it is well acquainted with, that is friendly with? Or it is receiving aspect from a planet it is neutral with? So all those things when clubbed again, then again you can precisely pinpoint exactly if those children products are to be made, then are those products related to be those whether he would be manufacturing those diapers or those pregnancy testers. So this the science of Vedic astrology is so strong in nature.